All right. How to validate SNR levels. So today we're looking at one of the firmest ways we can use to validate an SNR level is to consider if the level is fresh or unfresh. And then I mentioned that the daily and weekly can be used 4 times before they become unfresh, completely unfresh. H1 can be used twice before they become completely unfresh. So the idea is that if this is a daily level that has a V, or sorry, a. Now, this level is considered a fresh daily resistance. Okay, so let me put this daily resistance. So this is a daily resistance. So this level is considered a fresh daily resistance. Why? Price has only tapped 1 time. So let's say the second tap, the third tap, the fourth tap, right? By the time price comes back to this level, there's a likely chance that price is going to break this level. So when price breaks this level, this daily resistance that is now unfresh becomes a fresh daily support, right? So right here, it becomes fresh daily support. Why? Because this is the first time that price is going to be using that level, okay, for support. Price has been using that level, resistance, tap, 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 breakout, now fresh support, taps, boom, start to move high. Okay, so the idea of fresh is to ensure that for daily level, it's commonly called, some SNR traders call this the 4-2 rule, right? The 4-2 rule. Okay, let me write that somewhere. The 4-2 rule. The idea is to just be able to remember it. So the 4 is for weekly and daily, and the 2 is for H4 and H1. Okay, and we'll look at examples very shortly, but there's a need for me to now mention something very important. When an SNR level is unfresh, that means the daily has been used 4 times. If the daily has been used 3 times, that daily level is still fresh, but it is not as fresh as a resistance level that has never been used before. Okay, let me give you an example. So this daily level, tap, 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 okay? Another daily level, resistance, right? Say tap, tap. Between this level, between this and this, which one is fresher? Anybody? They are both daily levels. Daily, input that daily. So they are both daily levels. Which one is fresher?
The second one, sir.
The second one is fresher. Very good. Okay. Why is it fresher? Because it has only been used 2 times. All right. So that means the more price taps a particular resistance level, or the particular daily resistance level, the more price taps that level, the more unfresh the level becomes. But the level can still be used. Okay, the level can still be used. But in a scenario where you have 2 daily levels, if this is a daily level and there's another daily level here, right? So this is daily, and price has used this 1, 2 times, and price has not used this level at all. So you probably have something like, let me take this off. Price has not used this level at all, and the price is coming back. There's a chance that price would break this level so it can use a fresher level and continue lower. Okay, there is a chance that price will break this level so it can use the fresher level and continue lower. Okay, there can be a different scenario where the level, you have a daily level just above another daily level, and this daily level has been used before. So let me take this off. Okay, so this daily level has been used 1, 2, 3, and then price continues this way. There's a chance that price would continue with this new fresh daily level than coming to this level. Why? Because this level is fresher than this level. So validating an SNR level, you must always consider fresh zones, fresh SNR levels, fresh SNR levels. Okay. All right. So this brings us to the second way to validate SNR level. The second way is called MTF. MTF means multi-time frame analysis. Multi-time frame analysis. And what this means is that when you have an H4 level, for example, if you have an H4 SNR level, let's say support level this time around. Let's say you have something like this, and then your classic SNR, an H4 level. Multi-time frame analysis says you should drop down from this H4 one time frame lower in order to refine this level so you can get a smaller stop loss and a perfect entry, a precise entry. So let's say this is H4, for example. This is H4. If I'm going to drop one time frame lower, which time frame is lower to the H4? You're likely going to see H1, right? So on the H1, I'm going to mark the closest SNR level to this H4 level that price can use. But the idea is the H1 level I'm marking must be a fresh level. If I have an H4 SNR I want to buy from, I have marked the H4 SNR level, right? The idea is that for me to know if price is going to use this level, this H4 SNR level, I have to go to H1 to look for a fresh SNR level that is closest to this H4 level. And this is an example. Let me show you guys an example on EU, right? See, something that happened today, right? This buy that happened today. So let's see. See, guys. Now, what kind of SNR level is this? Okay, I need someone to talk so we can move fast, right?
Gap level.
This is a gap level, open close level. Very good. Okay, so price comes, taps into that level. This is a gap level, weekly gap level. So how am I sure that price is not going to just drop all the way down? How am I sure price is going to at least give me a bounce that is probably 10, 15 pips? Because this is EU, right? EU cannot give 100,000 pips, right? So EU can give 10, 20, 15 pips. How am I sure that this bounce is going to give me a reasonable pip that I can trade from? Now, I'll go to one time frame below. Why? Because of multi-time frame analysis. So this is the daily chart. Which SNR level is the closest to this weekly level? This level, right? This classic SNR, right? Okay, this classic SNR is the closest. So price stops. Okay, more reason to go. So I can decide to go. And is it a fresh level? Let's go back. Is this a fresh level? Is this a fresh daily level? Oh, come on, nobody's talking, man. Guys, is
Yes,
this a
sir.
fresh? Thank you.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a fresh, very well. That's a fresh daily level. Now, compared to why did price not come and use this level? Price could have just come. Why did this break? Why did it break? First up,
Because there's a fresh level.
okay, because there's a fresh level where lower. You remember the example I gave? There's a fresher level. Where's my drawing? Where's my drawing? Oh goodness. Oh, sorry, that's on gold. Let me open gold. Let me show you guys that example again. Okay. Remember this example where I drew a fresh level up here. They are both fresh, right? But price will go for the fresher one, right? And that's the same thing we have here. So this level, this daily level, is it fresh? Yes, price has only used it once, and that was this place. So this guy tapped fresh resistance, right? Used once. We had breakout. Okay. Price was so it has been used once. So price was supposed to just tap this level and start to go up, but no, price decided to come and use a fresher level at this point. Okay, and that fresher level now coincides with your weekly level. So it means that as an SNL trader, okay, a lot of traders will want to buy this guy from here. This breakout, right? This breakout, they want to start buying from here, right? But what happens? Price comes, takes them out. Why would price do that? One, we have a fresher daily level below, and then we have a weekly conference right here. So again, you must pay attention to fresh levels, only fresh levels, all right? Only fresh levels. Okay, so if a level is fresher than the other, mark the fresh level first and then mark the second level. The person can decide to use any one of them, but you must not fall trap for not marking a fresh level. So this is a fresh daily level. Now I want to show you, if we go one time frame again to refine, I want to ask you a very good question, all right? So where is the closest SNR level to this level? Where is the closest SNR level to this level? Da, 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 da. All right, guys, anybody there? Oh, nobody's here.
Plastic SNR just in
Can you
front.
mark it? You can mark it. You can annotate with. You can show me. There's an annotate button that I can use. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's the closest. Okay. The idea for MTF, right? The idea for MTF is to pick, for by situation, for MTF, you pick a level that is lower than the level you want to get precision from. All right. So I'll go over that again. So this is the weekly level. Can you take this off, please? Can you erase it? Okay. So this is the weekly level. Thank you. So this is the weekly level. When I wanted to refine to the daily level, I became lower, right? Because the idea for MTF again is to be able to reduce your stop loss, right? And get a more precise entry. You want to reduce your stop loss, okay? You want to reduce your stop loss and get a more precise entry. That's the idea of MTF. We're still going to talk about it when we start to talk about entries and precision, but this is just to validate SNR level. Okay. Now, for sell scenario, okay, let's look for MTF for this, right? This is a sell scenario. This is daily. So where will I go to look for my MTF? One time frame below. Okay, H4. So where is the H4 level that is closest to this HNS, right? Why is it this? Why am I not picking this level? Because if I pick this level, my stop loss will be wider. Okay, if I decide to enter here, I'll have to put my stop loss above this level, right? But if I pick this level below, my stop loss is what? Is smaller. Why? That is the reason for MTF. The MTF is to reduce your risk and to help you for more refinement, for more precision. Okay. So the closest, this is the daily level. This is the closest H4 level to the daily level. So let's see that. Now, how many times did I say you can use H4? Twice, right? Twice. So see that price comes, taps this level once, comes again, taps this level the second time, and starts to fall. But the price come from this for this fresh level? No. But would I have marked this fresh level as a potential area to sell from? Yes. So after drawing my daily MTF, my daily level, this is the daily level, I go to H4. I find a very proper MTF zone. I mark it. Why? Because I expect that price will come and tap that area or tap the freshest zone. Okay. So that's the essence of MTF. Okay. So for this EU buy that happened this morning, the reason why we can't get a good tap or a good MTF is this is the closest H4 level to this level. This guy here. Okay. This guy. Has it been used? Yes, it has been used once. Could it have been used the second time? Almost. Almost. Okay. Almost. But did we get MTF on one time frame lower? Yes. Going two time frame lower is too much precision, but if you can get one time frame lower, perfect. So from weekly, right? From weekly, this is the weekly, we went to daily, right? This is daily. Perfect area. So I'm going to take this off. For this daily, right? This is the daily. We went to H4, right? And on the H4, we saw the closest one, this one. Okay. And price used and drop. Okay. So MTF, very, very solid. MTF will give you the idea that, oh, price may likely use this zone. And the interesting thing is that an SNR zone can also be validated when two time frames have the same SNR levels. Okay. You can also validate and validate an SNR level when, I hope you guys are writing something, when two time frames have the same SNR level. For example, when the weekly and daily, for example, when the okay, let's go to lower time frame. The H1 SNR is the same as M30 SNR. This is also another way to validate your SNR level. Okay, when you have two time frames having the same SNR levels, the exact same SNR levels. Okay, so let's see examples. I think one happened with gold yesterday. So let me look for it. So okay. All right. What kind of SNR level is this? This is an open close gap level, right? Let's see M30. Is it M30 gap level also? Come on, you guys are not responding. Oh goodness.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So that validates that level, actually. That validates that level. And it only works for continuation setups. So for continuation setup, H1, you go to H1, you mark the gap level. You go to M30, it's still the same line. You don't have to mark anything. There's a big chance that price is going to use that level. And that's why when price tapped, price started to sell. Okay, each sell and price tap. Okay, when you go to let's see more examples. Okay, let's see if we can get more examples. H1, sorry, I should have used the closing price. H1 tap M30, similar SNR level. All right, so for M30 we can even have an MTR or MTF, right? Used once, used twice, just two times for M30. M30 H4 M1, M30 H1 H4 can be used twice, MTF. Okay, so this validates this SNR. More reasons to validate this SNR is what I'm going to mention next. Okay, so I've mentioned fresh and unfresh level to validate your SNR. That's number one. Number two, I mentioned what else did I say? Fresh MTF, right? Number two, MTF. Number three, when the same time frame have the same SNR level, you can use to validate your SNR level. Now, do you have to see all these three happen at once? No, you only need one. Okay, you only need one to validate an SNR level. And this is not the whole picture, guys. So we're still going to talk about setups, talk about entries, talk about direction, and then that's going to make sense. So the next way to validate an SNR level is when you have a miss. I know I explained what a miss is before. So for miss are very good if you can get them on M1. Why do I keep saying M1? On M30 and H1. Sometimes H4 time frame does not need miss, right? On M30, H1, you can easily get a miss to validate your SNR level. And what's a miss? I mentioned in the video that a miss is a failed initial attempt to use an SNR level. Okay, so this engulfing, for example, right? From the last class, remember that the closing price, the opening price of this engulfing is an SNR level, and then the closing price, this area is also an SNR level. Now, the first initial attempt of price to tap this classic SNR level is what we call a miss. Even though it's used an SNR level before, but it failed to tap another SNR level. The idea is that price likes to go to the extreme. That's the only reason why we look for miss, because we know price likes the extreme, and then every other time you keep seeing it happening. So I could have entered this cell, for example, I could have entered this cell from here. Okay, when price is retracing, coming back, I won't be looking to exit this cell. Why? Because I know I have another classic SNR level that is very fresh that price has not used, which will make this my miss. So if I sold here at this point, okay, if I sold here, price has given me sweet 50, 60 pips, I'm still holding, right? Why? Because price is coming up. Oh, I'm not scared. I'm not a pussy, I'm not scared, right? Because I know this is a miss and this is still a valid SNR level to trade from. And when price taps this SNR level, starts to drop. Okay, starts to drop. Why is that? There's a miss. There's a first failed initial attempt to use an SNR level. Okay, first failed initial attempt to use an SNR level. Okay, let's see more examples. And this is something that happens every day on the charts. Okay, happens every day. Show you guys more examples. Sometimes systems are difficult to find. Okay. All right. 1 year. So where's the SNR level? This is the SNR level. Okay. Where's the first failed attempt to use that level? This is the first failed attempt to use that level. So when price taps into my SNR level, I'm expecting a short down. A short down. Again, these are best for continuation setups. Now I keep saying it. The idea is that a lot of times we try to find reversals, catch reversals, but the most interesting setups are usually continuation setup. Okay. So continuation, right? Where's my miss? This is my miss. Okay. They are best for continuation setups. Okay. Best for continuation setups. I love continuation setups because I can easily get in and out. Okay. Price has given me the idea of what he wants to do. So I don't have to fret. I don't have to do anything else. All right. So where's the SNR level? Price use this level. Where is my miss? This is the miss. Is this a continuation? Yes, obviously. See what we had here. Tap, 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 breakout. So the retest is my entry. That's continuation setup, right? That's continuation setup. Okay. And you mostly find them for continuation setup. Okay. So the first one, the level must be fresh. Fresh levels. Only trade for fresh SNR levels. Don't trade on fresh. Only trade fresh SNR levels. Okay. Next one, MTF. Refine your levels. Okay. No matter the time frame, you can go one time frame lower to refine your levels. Only one time frame lower. Okay. And when you are refining, ensure you are refining from a fresh level. Okay. If your level is not fresh, there is a high chance that price is going to break it. If your level is not fresh, there's a high chance that price is going to break it. Okay. The second way is a miss. Okay. So you can use a miss to validate an SNR level. When you have an SNR level, oh, I'm not sure if price is going to use this level. What am I going to do? How am I going to enter? Oh, does that level have a miss? If it has a miss, boom, that's your way to enter. Okay. As long as there is a miss, that's your way to enter the trade. Okay. Now, the first way to validate an SNR level is to go to look for 2-time breakouts. Right now, I mentioned this in the last video. Look for 2-time breakouts. Okay. Let's see 2-time breakouts. So say, for example, let me go to the H4 because a lot of guys like the H4, right? Like the H4 level. Let's say, for example, this HNS level. HNS level. Why am I considering this HNS level? We already have a breakout here, right? This is a breakout. The price break? Yes, it did. Okay, let's see closer. So we had breakouts. Okay. So I'm going to use this HNS level. Now, important thing to note about this HNS level, is this HNS level fresh or unfresh? Right now, fresh or unfresh? How many times has price used this HNS level?
Fresh.
One time.
How many times?
One time, sir.
One time. Can you show me? Right here, right? Good, very good. Okay, very good. So price has used this level once. Okay, use this level once. Was there a breakout after tapping this level? Yes, there was a breakout. So what does that mean? That means this level, this HNS level is a strong HNS level. Why? Because we had a breakout after price tapped that level. Okay, so when I'm going to enter for a re-entry, my expectation is that price is going to tap this SNR level. But before price taps this SNR level, I'm a trader. I don't want to get big stop loss. So where will I go to? H1. Why? I want to go to H1 to refine the SNR level. And what would that refinement do? That refinement will give me the closest SNR level I can trade from. So what's the closest SNR level I can trade from? Right here, right? On the H1. Okay? That's the closest. The next one is this gap level, right? But the closest is this, because this is still an HNS, right? This is the left shoulder, okay? This is still an HNS, this is left shoulder, and this is the peak. So the idea is that I want to get a good entry. So what will I do? I refine. So let's go back to the H4. So I'm expecting price to come, tap, and then start to drop, okay? That's the easy way to validate HNS levels. The easiest way, in fact, okay? See, taps and start to drop. Now, what level the price use? H1 MTF. Why did I go for the H1 MTF? Because I'm sure that this H4 level is fresh and my H1 MTF is fresh. My H1 MTF is also fresh, right? Broke out, tap as support, broke out again, so it's now fresh. Taps and then starts to drop. Okay? I'm going to take it back again, show you guys another way to validate this level. Because there are a lot of times that I ask people, oh, how do you validate SNR? They don't even know, they're not sure. Okay, let's see another way to validate this level. Okay. So now I am expecting price to use this level after we had the breakout. Okay. So let's see, let me play the breakout. Okay, we had the breakout. All right. Expecting price to use this level after we have the breakout. So the most interesting thing to do is I'm waiting for, I've refined my H1 MTF, and this is my H1 MTF level. So what do I want to get next? The next way to validate an SNR is when price taps an SNR level, you go 2 time frame below to look for an engulfing to form. This is an H4 level. This is an H4 level, right? This is my H1 MTF, H4 SNR, H1 MTF, okay? What time frame am I going to go to look for engulfing? For H4, 2 time frame below for H4 is M30, okay? H4, go to M30. For H1, go to M15. Am I making sense, guys? This SNR level, is it a support or a resistance SNR level? Right now, what am I expecting? Am I expecting to sell from this level, or I'm expecting to buy to sell? Very good. Resistance, very brilliant. So it means that when I go to M30, M15, I'm looking for engulfing buy or engulfing sell. Which one am I looking for, guys? If I want to sell, I'll be looking for engulfing sell,
Engulfing
right?
sell.
Very good. So let's go to M30. Okay. So in M30, we'll wait for our engulfing sell. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I'm not played this. Okay. So we tapped MTF, pause. After we tapped our H1 MTF, oh, okay. The first question, price tapped H4 MTF. Was there engulfing sell? Is this an engulfing? We're going to know if you guys really understand engulfing now. All right, guys.
No.
Is this an engulfing?
Engulfing buy.
No.
Why is it not an engulfing?
Engulfing buy sell.
No. Carrington. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this engulfing sell, right? This is an H4 level. I said when we come to H4, we come to M30 engulfing cell, right? So did we get M30 engulfing cell here? Is this M30 engulfing cell?
No
This
engulfing sell.
perfect. No engulfing cell. Why? Because the low of this guy was not taken out. Okay? All right. So That makes a very good idea of what, and that means you guys understand what an engulfing is. So what level is this? H1 or H4 level? This is H1
H1
level.
level.
Okay, for H1 level, where do we look for our engulfing? M15.
M
So when price tapped our H1 level, where is the first engulfing that formed? Can someone show me the first engulfing cell? This, right? This, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, did you cell fail? Good. So the first one that formed is this guy. So this is my entry for this trade. And imagine how small my stop is going to be, just 37 pips. In fact, we can make it smaller when I start to teach you guys liquidity and all those things. But this is how small it can be. So H1 level, we look for M15 engulfing cell to validate this H1 SNR level. H4 level, this guy H4 level, we look for M30 cell. But did we get M30 cell? No, we did not get M30 cell. By the time we start to talk about setups, I will explain why this formed, why this engulfing buy formed, and all of that. But to validate an SNR level, we go 2 time frame below. Let's see another example. Let's see a much lower time frame. Let's see M30 example. M30 example. Okay. So this is M30 SNR. Breakout SNR, right? Price broke. Okay. So we tap the level. Now for M30, 2 time frame below M30 is what? M5. Okay. 2 time frame below M30 is M5. So to validate if price is going to use this level, how am I going to know? How am I going to be able to enter the trade immediately or enter the trade at the time? Okay. I'm going to come to M5. Okay. I'm going to come to M5. But before M5, let's see if there's MTF. Okay. Now, guys, what kind of, from this level is from which time frame? M30, right? I need a very quick response, guys. This level is from M30. Now, this is M15 chart. Okay, wait, let me do something so we can, let's see. Okay. So this is M15 chart. Now, on the M15, remember, one of the ways to validate an SNR level is when you have the same level on 2 different time frames, right? On M30, we have breakout SNR, okay? On M15, broken gap level. Are you guys following this? M15 broken gap level. What happens when price tap? Price tapped, rejected. Okay. On M5, what do I need to see? Engulfing buy to enter, right? So let's wait for our engulfing buy. Engulfing buy. Pause. Is this an engulfing buy? Nobody's responding. Come on,
Yes.
guys. This is an engulfing buy. So what happens? Engulfing buy formed. Did we retrace to the level? We trace, and then we started to push up. Did that validate this SNR level? Yes. So where's my entry? This is my entry. Stop loss below the engulfing, and I can just take 40, 20 pips, who knows, and keep holding, okay? What would determine if you are going to hold the trade I and I is storyline, okay? And we're going to talk about storyline next after this, but this is just to be able to catch, you want to catch 20, 30 pips, easy, 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 without even learning about storyline. Why? Because you know how to use valid SNR levels. So let's say another example, okay? Let's say another example. This time around, I'm going to try and look for M15 SNR, okay? So to make it more interesting, okay, let's see M15. So M15 SNR level, I'm looking for a very good M15 SNR level for you guys. Now, this is an M15 SNR level. For M15, what time frame will I go to look for my engulfing? M1, guys. M1, 2 time frame below.
Yes, sir. M1.
Okay, very good. M1, sorry, I missed that. So let's see this. Okay, M1. Now on the M1, did I get an engulfing? Yes. But the price come back to it? No. I'm going to talk about that later. But the fact that I got an engulfing is an idea that this SNR is what? Is valid. So it means that I can still get trades to enter on this continuation setup. So it means the only thing I need to find is continuation setup, right? And one of our continuation setup is when you have a miss, right? So is this a miss? That's a miss, right? This is an SNR level. So will I enter here? Guys, would you have taken this trade from here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, why? Because there is a miss and you have your valid gap level, right? Even though it was on the M1. See, no matter the time frame, when you talk about order of time frames, no matter the time frame, as long as you have valid SNR levels to trade from, the idea is to be confident to pick that trade. So I'll explain something again. So if you were too scared to take this trade here, let's say you're too scared, oh, I don't want to take this trade here. You can wait for an engulfing to form inside this area. And did that engulfing form? Yes. Okay. So you could have taken this trade from here if you are not confident to have taken it here. Engulfings are the controlling SNR level in any time frame. Engulfings tell you who is in control of the market. So I'm too scared to enter here because, oh, this M1, they say there's a lot of noise. They say we can't trade M1. So well, I wait for an engulfing to form on that same SNR level, on that same time frame, right? Because continuation setup. So my engulfing forms, do I get decent pips? Yes. In fact, when we play, you're probably going to get 20 pips, 20 pips sell. Okay, see that. Okay, so price just keeps dropping. I still have this level marked. If price comes back to this level, will I want to take the trade? Yes. If I'm not confident enough, I will simply wait for price to give me an engulfing before I enter. Okay, wait for price to give me an engulfing on the same time frame. That is how you validate an SNR level. That's how you validate an SNR level. Is it fresh? Is there an MTF? Is there a miss? Is there engulfing 2 time frames below? If you are too scared to enter on engulfing 2 time frames below, is there another engulfing forming? So let's see another example. Let's go higher now because let's go higher now. Let's go higher now. Okay, let's go higher now. All right, guys, see this level. Let me take this off. This off. These guys need to take you guys off. Okay, so this SNR level right here. This SNR level, okay, the price tag, yes. Now, how do you know if you should sell from this level? Okay, you go to M1. Oh, sorry. You go to H1. Sorry, I like M1, but I don't use it that much. You go to H1 rather. You go to H1. So on the H1, what do you look for? You look for an engulfing to form. Okay, H1. That's why sometimes you just smile when some things happen because you already know the order of time frames. Now, is this an engulfing? This is an engulfing, right? 1, 2, 3, right? This is an engulfing.
Yes.
Exactly. So what did price do? Price came, tapped classic SNR and started to drop. Is there a miss? You can get a miss on M30, okay? Minus that, just watch, keep watching. This is first engulfing that formed and made price drop, okay? When you go to M15 from M30, from H1, you can go to which time frame? M15. Now on M15, you can look for M15 engulfing as continuation setups. So anywhere you see M15 engulfing, you just keep selling, man. M15 engulfing, 1, so you sell here. M15 engulfing, this guy. From here to here, these 2 candles broke, so you sell. M15 engulfing, keep selling, man. Same M15 engulfing is where we sold from, plus miss. first initial attempt to tap the engulfing but failed. So when price came back, tapped, then started to drop. Okay, started to drop. Where did we come from? From daily, right? Tapped daily level, go to H1. Did you get engulfing? Yes. For continuation setup, go to M15 and keep looking for engulfing. That is how you validate your SNR level. I'm going to talk about this in setup and all of those things. In fact, you're going to backtest and it's just going to be very, very easy for you guys to follow through. Okay, so I'm still going to explain better. So the last way to validate an SNR level. So let's see. So I mentioned fresh on fresh, number one, fresh on fresh, number two, MTF, number three, if two time frame have the same SNR level, two time frame having the same SNR level, very good. Number four, go 2 time frames below, look for an engulfing to form. Okay, go 2 time frames below, look for an engulfing to form in order to validate that level. Okay, 2 time frames below, look for an engulfing to form. Now, the last one is to go 1 time frame below and look for breakout. And that's where we now start to talk about storyline. All right. So storyline. So what is storyline? The idea for storyline is that price will go from buying to selling and from selling to buying. You see, a lot of traders, SNR traders, or people who trade, they make the mistake of thinking that storyline only happens on daily, weekly, and monthly, but that's not true. Every time frame has a storyline. Okay? Now, I'll ask you a question. The storybooks you read in say nursery 2, okay? The storybooks you read in nursery 2, maybe when you were in school in literature class, English class, you read storybooks in, let's say, nursery class. Are they the same storybooks you will read in grammar school or secondary school or in college? No, they are different. Okay, but do children in nursery school, do they also have storybooks? Yes. Children in primary schools, children in college, children in basic schools, secondary schools, universities, they have storybooks. All right. What differ is the length of the story. Okay, so you can have a big storybook. Let's say the history of Christopher Columbus. All right. Let's say Romeo and Juliet. Okay, big storybooks. Old people will understand. They have good storyline, long storyline. And then you can have a very small storybook like Alice in the Wonderland, right? Very short storybook. Or you can have just small storybooks that don't even count. But do they have stories? Yes. They all have stories. Daily time frame has a story. The H4 time frame has a story. M1 has a story to tell. The difference between the storyline on the daily and the storyline on M30 is that the storyline on the daily will take a longer time to complete. The storyline on the M30 will take a shorter time to complete. But is there an M30 storyline? Yes. There is an M30 storyline. So what storyline? I said storyline is how buyers and sellers enter and leave the market. Okay. Storyline is how buyers and sellers enter and leave the market. So how do buyers enter the market? Anybody? Can anybody tell me how buyers enter the market? Buyers enter the market by buying on support. How do they exit the market? They exit by selling at resistance. Oh, so that's correct. So how do sellers enter the market? Sellers enter the market by selling at resistance. And that's why in the first video, I took out time to explain all this detail, right? Sellers would sell at resistance. Their take profit or stop loss would be at support. So storyline is price moving from support to resistance or from resistance to support. That means buy to sell or sell to buy. Okay, so an example, let's say we have daily storyline right here. Daily storyline. So we have daily, and we have this level of mistake. So this is a daily resistance, this is a daily support. So the idea is for storyline, when price taps a daily resistance or a daily support, so if buyers enter on the daily, where they are going to exit the trade or make their profits is when price comes to a daily resistance. And from a daily resistance, we can go to another daily support, another daily resistance, another daily support, another daily resistance, another daily support, another daily resistance, and on and on and on and on like that. Okay, that's storyline. Okay. So we have monthly, weekly storyline, we have daily storyline, we have H4 storyline, we have H1. I'm not going to, yeah, I want you guys to see this H1 as storyline, but I don't want you to be familiar with it, okay? But like, just always remember that there's an H1 storyline, okay? And then we have M30 storyline. Now, if the monthly time frame has how many weekly candles? In a month, how many weeks do we have in a month? Nobody's talking. Why? Why is there nobody? 4 weeks. Okay, very good. So in a month, we have 4 weekly candles. So that means in a month, we have the opportunity of trading weekly to weekly based on how, okay, currency versus entry to IS. Why are we 5 here? Okay. All right, let me continue. So a monthly candle has 4 weekly candles. Monthly candles have 4 weekly candles. So for example, if this is a monthly candle, inside this bearish monthly candle, you're likely going to have one, two, 3, 4. Okay, one monthly bearish candle. Inside that 1 month, we have 4 weekly bearish candle. And why am I saying this? You must always remember as a trader that the higher time frame are formed by the lower time frames. So what forms before a weekly candle can close, sorry, before a monthly candle this monthly candle can close, there must have been 4 weekly candles, right? There must have been 4 weekly candles. Now, the monthly candle can close anyhow. For example, see, this is April, right? This is April candle close. So let me show you guys something. Let's put this. So now, see the weekly candles in April. This is the 1st of April. So we have 1. So this is the first week. There are 4. I think April has 5 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the last week, though this week is still has some part of May in this week because today is just May 1st. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 candles is the reason why we have this singular weekly candle. Someone's saying, why am I emphasizing this? I'm emphasizing this because it's important to know. Because if you don't know, you will die in the battle of looking for higher time frame buyers when we already have lower time frame giving us all the details we need. Okay, so in a day, for a daily candle to form, how many hours are in a day? We have 24 hours in a day. Okay, the market does not usually open for 24. Okay, yeah, oh, let's say 10 to 10 in my own time. So let's say 24 hours actually. So now, how many 4-hour candle can you see in 24 hours? 6. You can see 6 4-hour candle in 24 hours. So that means 6 H4 candles is what form a singular daily candle. So what does that tell you? That it tells you that H4 storyline is inside the daily storyline. It means that you cannot have a daily storyline without an H4 storyline. It means that you cannot have a monthly storyline without a weekly storyline. So if I say I'm talking about storyline and I say, oh, this is my daily support, like I said earlier, daily resistance, this is a daily support. I'm not expecting price to just form one day and just come like this, boom. No, this is not going to happen. The only time frame this is going to happen straight up like this is on the daily. But when you go to the H4, you're going to see something like this. When something like this, right? This is H4, this is daily. Daily is just going to form a singular candle, tap. For H4, it's going to form all the details, all the internal details, right? All the retracements. So drop, retrace, drop, retrace, drop, retrace, drop. So inside this daily storyline, this long story, this is the line, this is storyline. We have H4 storyline. Inside H4 storyline, right? We have H1 storyline. Okay? So, because you need 4 H1 candles to have, sorry, you need 4 H1 candles to have a singular H4 candles. The moment you understand this about time frames, your idea of storyline becomes superb, becomes so good that no one will stop you. The moment you understand this. Because you would know that every time frame has a story, and a time frame lower to a particular time frame has more details about the daily. So the storyline that has more detail about the daily time frame is the H4. The H4 has more detail to tell us about the daily. The H4 is going to tell us when the daily sellers are ready to sell at resistance. The H4 is going to tell us if the daily buyers are ready to buy at resistance. The H4 is the best place to know what is going on in the daily. So storyline. So it means that the idea of understanding storyline is to be able to catch long-term trades. If you want to hold trades for 3 days and above, weeks, sometimes days, you must understand the storyline on the daily, on the weekly, and on the monthly. I'll take that again. If you want to become a swing trader, okay, swing traders, okay, you must understand the storyline on daily, the weekly, and the monthly. If you want to be an intraday trader, intraday, H4 and H1 should be your friend. H4, H1 will be your friend. Can you go to the daily to look for daily storyline? Yes. You can go to daily as an intraday trader to find daily storyline, to find the long storyline. Because sometimes you might just feel like, oh, I want to hold this trade for 2-3 days because I know where price is going. I know daily will always go to daily. Okay? Daily to daily. All right? So, long-term traders, swing traders, the weekly, the daily, your friend for storyline. Intraday traders, H4, H1 for storyline. If you're a scalper, right, you just want to catch small pips, M30, M1 storyline. Now, someone is saying, so how do I know? You're saying storyline. How am I sure that price is going to use an M30 level to go? You will be sure when you are done. So let's say this is daily storyline. So for daily storyline, you go to H4 to look for breakout. Daily storyline. Go to H4 to look for breakout. H4 storyline. Go to what time frame? H1 BO. Okay. So it means that inside daily storyline, we have H4 storyline. And inside H1 storyline, we have, H1 storyline, you go to M30 BO. So inside H1 storyline, you have M30 storyline. Storyline continues, it never stops. Okay, so it is M30 storyline that forms H1 story, that forms H4 story, that forms daily story, that forms weekly story, that forms the big monthly story. Okay, so let's see examples of storyline. So let's look for daily to daily, right? Daily to daily levels. Okay, daily to daily. We're gonna pray daily to daily. So this is a daily SNR level right here. So if I'm buying at this daily SNR level, where am I going to exit this trade? Another daily SNR level, right? So my first target is going to be this. This is the next SNR level, if you agree with me, right? If you guys agree with me, okay? So daily support to daily resistance, right? Daily support to daily resistance. That's storyline. Now, when price breaks this, we test. Is this a support now or a resistance? This is support. So that means my next, if I'm going to buy on this support, the next resistance is my next target. So from daily support to another daily resistance. Okay. Now we broke again. This storyline, guys, this is how easy storyline is. All right. So we broke again. Let's see another example. Daily support. So where's the closest daily resistance? Let's use the line chart to get clarity. This is the closest daily resistance. See that? Okay. So price taps this daily resistance, daily support. My next area of interest is this daily resistance, and we broke out, which is good. I don't care. What I care about is that, oh, as long as I'm here, I got my daily support. Then right here, my next area to exit is this daily resistance. In fact, my next area to even exit is this gap level. You must mark everywhere. Okay, because this is storyline, I can't explain setups and all of those things. When we get to setup, we'll see more details, guys. After I can't wait. I can't wait to get to setup. So I'm going to explain to you, if price break this level, what should you do? Because normally, if you are going to exit at a resistance level, you should be looking for sell here. So when price was coming, approaching this level, how would you have validated this guy the same way I taught you guys? Okay, how would you have validated? Okay, we'd have validated by either looking for an engulfing on 2 time frames below, or your MTF, or any of those things. So let's see this as an example. So let's see, is there an H4 breakout? So you're expecting price to break this for us to know that price is going to continue bullish, right? Because this is a daily SNR level. We go to H4 and we wait for breakouts. Okay, so let's wait for breakouts. Let's wait for breakout. Let's wait for breakout. Let's wait for breakout. Ooh, goodness. This must have been a news, man. Or Wednesday. So this was FOMC, most likely. That's FOMC. Okay, it was FOMC. But while we were waiting for a breakout, we had a bullish engulfing form right here. This could have been a good trade to actually enter. Why? Because the bullish engulfing also had a miss. This is a miss here. Okay, so we had breakouts. The way price entered this level, will you want to sell from here? No, definitely. Why? Because there is no rejection. There is no engulfing forming at this point. Let's see. No engulfing forming. Price broke. Okay, so price broke your support or your resistance. What happens? The resistance becomes support. So when we begin to look at setups, we'll look at more detail actually. I'm going to explain some interesting things. So that's the idea of storyline. So the idea of storyline is to be able to look for how market plays out from weekly resistance to weekly support. Why? It is to be able to get your targets. It's to be able to know that, okay, if I'm going to buy here, where should I exit this trade? Or where should I take a counter trend? That's the idea of storyline. If I'm going to sell at this resistance, which support should I take profit from? That's why we are looking at storyline. Why? Because we believe that price would always trade from support to resistance. From support to resistance. So storyline gives me an idea. Should I hold this trade? Should I close this trade? That's what storyline does. Gives me an idea. Should I hold this trade? Should I close this trade? So for daily storyline, we look for H4 breakout or H4 engulfing. Okay, H4 breakout, H4 engulfing. For H4 storyline, we look for H1 breakout or H1 engulfing. So what is the difference between this? What's the difference between looking for breakout one time frame below and looking for breakout 2 time frame below? What's the difference between these two? Can anybody tell me? Remember when we were validating SNR, we were looking for breakout and engulfing 2 time frames below. But for storyline, you look for breakout or engulfing 1 time frame below. Okay? Can anybody tell me why? What's the difference between these two? What's the difference? What's the difference? I need you guys to reason this out. Okay? The difference is that if price has tapped a daily level, say daily level, and you go to H1 to look for your breakout, and you get a breakout on the H1, there's a high chance that that trend may not go for too long. Okay, there's a high chance that the trend will not go for too long. But when you see a daily level and there is H4, 1 time frame below breakout, this is a surety that that trend is likely going to give you 500 pips minimum. Okay, because the storyline, the story is going to go so long. But 2 time frames below, the story might not go that long. So 100 pips, you can take profit 100 pips and break even and allow the rest to run. But when there's an H4 breakout or an H4 engulfing, oh goodness, you are going to super enjoy the trade, right? So let me show you what I'm saying. So an example of what happened this week, this level. So price tapped this daily resistance level. Storyline says go to H4, right? So on H4, is there a breakout? H4 breakout, yes. This is H4 breakout. So price broke out, returned, and then dropped. Is it up to 500 pips? Or you see that 600 good pips. Okay. Now, if you were looking for breakout and engulfing on the H1, and you entered here, let's say you entered at this point, at this level, see this sell, just 172 pips, not so much, right? Not so much. So it means that H1, 2 time frame below H1, you just enter intraday, enjoy yourself. Okay. 1 time frame below, oh, it's going to be longer. Okay, you're going to get a more decent move, a more decent move. The same thing that happened here. This was the H4 breakout here. You're going to get a more decent move. All right. Now, storyline does not stop at support to resistance and resistance to support. It also continues with engulfings. Okay. Daily storyline can happen when a daily engulfing is broken, or when a daily engulfing sell is broken, or when a daily engulfing buy is broken. And what do I mean by that? See, on the daily, why did we start looking for sales when price came back here? See this engulfing. All these guys got broken. This big engulfing got broken. So that's a change in story. That is telling us that we are not buying anymore. We are now starting to sell. So when a daily engulfing for breaks, on H4 engulfing breaks, it could be a telltale sign that price is changing the buyers. Okay, all right. So now see this example. This is a daily engulfing that just broke, right? What is this breakout telling me? Is it telling me to keep buying? Am I going to keep buying and then I'll be holding my trade forever? No, this is telling me that when price gets to this level, this SNR level, or more preferably, this SNR level, I want to start selling. Why? Because by breaking this bullish daily engulfing, you are telling me that the sell story will continue. They are telling me that this sell resistance level will be used to sell even more. Why? We have broken a major engulfing. Okay, the same thing on the H4. I'll show you the H4, and that's why just don't stereotype yourself to think that, oh, okay, this is going to happen. Now, when price broke this engulfing, yeah, this is telling you that that day is now a bearish day. Price breaks an H4 engulfing, that's telling you that your day is now a bearish day. See, broke these two, in fact, broke two H4 engulfings. So when price is here, do I want to be buying? And then when price is here, if I take any buy here, will I be waiting for price to come to this level? No. Why? Price cannot come to this level again because an engulfing has been broken. We now have an engulfing fail on the H4. So that is telling us more detail. Engulfing fail. We are breaking lows. We are breaking it. Engulfings are failing. What you need to do is to start selling. Engulfing fail, 1. Engulfing fail, 2. Engulfing fail, 3. Do you want to buy? No. When price retraces, the only thing you want to do is to sell. Another engulfing fail. Okay? Engulfing fail. Price retrace, start to sell. So when an H4 engulfing fails or a daily engulfing fails, is giving you a hint that there is a change in storyline. H4 engulfing fails, daily engulfing fails, is giving you a hint that there is a change in storyline. It could be the same thing for bullish scenario. When we wanted to start buying, see what happened. We wanted to start buying. See, let's go to the daily first. We were just breaking bearish engulfings. That's why we started buying. We were breaking bearish engulfings. Okay? So I remember someone messaged me at the time. Okay, now see. Let's see this. Bearish engulfing, right? Did it break? Broke. Immediately it breaks. Do I want to sell? Because at that time, a lot of people were trying to sell here. Why do you want to sell here when a major engulfing has been broken and there's no rejection? There's no need to sell. Okay? There's no need to sell. Okay? More engulfings got broken. Especially engulfings that were very strong. See, engulfing got broken. This got broken. This one got broken. Imagine price breaking this here and I'm not trying to sell here. What will happen? I'm going to lose my money. Guys, I'm going to have lost money. See, again, engulfing sell got broken. Do I want to now start selling here? No. Immediately you have a break in an engulfing or a break in an SNR level, that is telling you that there is a change. There is a change. And it usually happens for continuation setups. See, I keep mentioning continuation. Now, the next engulfing here that just got broken. Oh, not yet broken. By the time this engulfing breaks, if it breaks, what will I do? Will I try to start buying from this engulfing? No. Why? Because this engulfing breaking is telling me, is giving me an hint that, oh, this week is likely going to be a bearish week. When an H4 engulfing fails, it is an idea that that day will be a bearish day. When a daily engulfing fails, it is an idea that that week will be a bearish week. Remember, daily candles form the weekly candle. H4 candles form the daily candle. Are you guys following this? Okay. So, anytime we have storyline, there is a need to have roadblocks. And I'm not going to mention anything to you guys about roadblocks because I don't really use roadblocks that much. Why? Because I only trade key SNR levels. And that's why when you check the guideline for this curriculum, I wrote mastering storyline. The storyline, why is storyline important? Is storyline really important? What we need to understand is understanding key levels. And how do you know a key level? A key SNR level is an SNR level that takes liquidity or breaks structure. A key level is also called a control demand or a control engulfing. And that's why I showed examples on the chart. When you have an engulfing that takes liquidity and breaks structure,
a very good engulfing to buy from. Like, for example, this engulfing, if price should come back to this engulfing, I'm going to go full margin, right? If price should come back here, I'm going to take this trade. Why? Because this is a control engulfing. It's a control engulfing. Okay? It's a control engulfing. So price comes, taps. We have FOMC today, we have NFP. There's a high chance that price taps this level this week, and then we continue lower. Okay? Very, very high chance. And there's a very high chance. So price is going to tap, give us some drop. Okay? It might not even break the low, but it's going to give you something 100, 150 pips and above. Why? This engulfing is engulfing that broke an engulfing. The engulfing broke this next engulfing. That's how you know strong levels. Okay? That's how you know strong levels. Right? So where will I trade from? Why is price not trading from that level? Why is price not giving me this trade? Why is price not doing that? You are not mastering strong levels. Now see this level here. So this engulfing right here took liquidity. Okay, broke this engulfing field. Right? When price retraced, what did we see? We bought. When price broke it, that's why it's called controlling demand. When price breaks it, it is still that same engulfing price is going to use to continue to sell. Why? Because it's a controlling engulfing. Control engulfing or control SNRs are very powerful. Okay? Price would use them. See, price came, bought, breakout, the same level, price is going to sell from it. That's control. It has taken liquidity and broken structure. The idea for teaching you guys all this, I'm still going to teach you setups, teach you all these things, step by step rule on how to take trades on all this. But this whole idea that I'm trying to tell you guys is going to frame a very good knowledge of how the market works for you guys. Okay, it's going to frame a very good knowledge of how the market works for you guys. Okay, so control engulfing, very powerful, very, very powerful. Let's see more examples. This break? No, it did not. So control engulfing. Okay. This is a control engulfing. Grab liquidity. Broke another engulfing field. Can you see? Grab liquidity, broke an engulfing field. So when price comes back to it, it is from this that a lot of traders might be looking for buys here. Buys here. But is this the right place to take the buy from? No. Why? It's not the control engulfing. Okay? A control engulfing will take liquidity and break an engulfing field. So that's where you're going to take your trade from. So price comes, taps, boom, we start to go. We start to go. Okay? Right? More examples. Another control engulfing here. Took liquidity. Oh, someone say we didn't break. Okay, let me show you guys on each one to see if we broke. Okay, did we break an engulfing cell? Oh no, we didn't break an engulfing cell. Okay, but we broke an engulfing cell right here. Good, very good, right here. It's an engulfing cell, this level. So this is your control engulfing, this guy. I would have considered this week, this area, because that's where price tapped. But the idea for me is when you extend to the other side, you're going to see that we are likely going to even get a minor sell anywhere around here. Because this is a control engulfing. If we don't sell from here, we'd likely sell from this area. It's a control engulfing. That's how control engulfings work. They break, the moment they break an opposing level, break an engulfing field, oh, they are good. They are about to fire on. They're about to tell you how powerful they are. Honestly, they're about to tell you how powerful they are. Okay, let's see another example. Okay. Now, I would have taken this as an engulfing, but it's too much, right? Because this candle, three candles break. So did we break any engulfing field? Yeah, we broke this engulfing field. Okay, so that makes this guy valid. So it means that price lies the extreme. That's my classic SNR level. And probably on the H4, there's probably a much bigger conference. You see, on the H4, there's a better conference. The price taps and then starts to go up. Okay, another one. Is this a control engulfing? Is this a control engulfing? No, it's not. No, it's not. It didn't break. It didn't break any, guys. So price broke out of it. Okay, so control engulfing is the best. The best. Do you have to use a control engulfing to be able to trade? No, but this gives you an idea, right? Gives you an idea. Okay, this is H4. This is an engulfing. Yes. Did we break an engulfing? Yes, we broke this engulfing field. So it's your control engulfing. Okay. So price came back, we'd have sold here. Good sell, decent 400 pips. Okay. Decent 400 pips. So that's your control engulfing. They would always work. They would always work. Okay. They would always work. Another one, control engulfing, citizen engulfing. This one. Did we break an engulfing cell? Yes, we broke this engulfing cell. When we retraced back, how many pips did it give us from this gap level? From that gap level, we got how many pips? 200 pips. You see, you don't need to know too much. You don't need to know too much. Just be able to identify these things. 200 pips, then price broke it. And when price broke it, price still used that's the peak to sell from the other side. You see that? Use the peak to sell from the other side. So control engulfing. Engulfings that break another engulfing and take liquidity. Control engulfing too. Very powerful things, man. So powerful. I think we've done this example. And so that's about control engulfings. So, and that's why I said I don't use roadblocks that much because I know where price is going to go back to. Okay. I only learn to master key levels. But I'm going to mention little things about roadblock. So if we have a daily storyline, daily going to daily, your roadblock is going to be on the H4, okay? And until the H4 roadblock is complete, we cannot continue the daily storyline. So what does that mean? So if we say on the daily, so let's say on the daily, let me look for a very good example. Okay, let me use somewhere here. So let's say this is a daily storyline, right? This is daily resistance. So did we tap? Didn't tap. So okay, daily HNS level. So daily resistance to daily support. Okay. So price started moving from here, sell, sell. Price bought here, right? Why did that price buy here? Price would have bought here because of something interesting. One, this is a control engulfing, right? I hope you guys can see it. Okay, control engulfing. Why? We broke this engulfing field, right? So that's your first roadblock. Even though you knew that daily would go to where? To daily, okay? So that's your first roadblock, and that's properly seen on the H4. Let me go back to this. Let me play the replay button so I don't have to go all the way down. So on the H4, MTF, right? So until this H4 storyline completes, we cannot continue selling. Okay, so H4 support must go to H4 resistance. Okay, so where's the H4 resistance we went to? Broken gap, right? So we tap this H4 level. So our journey is from daily to daily. Someone is asking me, do I really need this? Honestly, no, you don't really need this. The most important part of trading SNR is to be able to catch decent pips that you need. Okay, be able to know how to validate SNR level and understand your setups. Okay, this is for people that want to complicate things or that like advanced things. This is like an advanced stuff. Okay, but I'm just mentioning it because some of you might want to learn these things, and so I would not be giving half knowledge. I want you guys to understand these things. So idea of storyline, daily goes to daily. H4 is your roadblock. Okay, daily goes to daily, H4 roadblock. All right. So today, the most important takeaways from this video is to remember that the best SNR level to trade from are validated SNR levels. They must be fresh, one, or they must have a miss, usually in continuation setups. 3, they must give you an engulfing 2 time frames below or breakout. An engulfing 2 time frames below or breakout. Okay? And to continue the continuation setup, we will drop again. All right? So I'm going to then, okay? I'm going to then know that so far we've covered formation of SNR levels, we've covered types of SNR, we've been able to identify valid SNR levels on all time frames. I showed you guys H4, I showed you guys M15, right? I showed you guys H1, I showed you guys daily. Also be able to validate SNR levels, right? We talked about Ms, Fresh, MTF, EG, BO, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about in the next class, we are going to be looking at liquidity concepts, and that's going to be on Saturday. And let me pause